Hey, just making sure I'm live here. There we go. Okay. Um, I wanted to hop on and talk about this hail threat. Okay, just off the top here, I'm having issues with my Ready Warn service. It's probably my fault. We're switching things over with the new system, and that is something that we're going to be taking care of. I'm already troubleshooting and handling that issue as best I can. If nothing else, we'll just put the warnings out as best we can, old school style. So for now, I wanted to hop on and show you this storm over Natchitoches Parish. Yes, we have another one we'll talk about briefly as well, but for now, this severe thunderstorm warning for this storm right here just crossed I-49. It's north of Natchitoches, so if you were headed out for the festivities tonight, this was our worry here in the setup to do all the stuff and everything, that there would be some weather issues today. And this one, I would guess, is putting down golf ball sized hail. They've upped that in the warning, so that's what they're forecasting now, is for golf ball sized hail. We can take a look, and this is going to be more dramatic than reality, but this is what we are given here. So I click on this, and it's hail aloft. So we're getting hail aloft that we're seeing around 3 inches in diameter. It's melting on the way down. But that heaviest core, which above 65 is massive, so 73 is huge, and that's down at 5,800 feet. That shows me this hail is making it to the ground, and probably, again, golf balls, maybe a little larger. This is approaching Campty. So if you're in that area, you're going to want to go ahead and garage the cars if possible, as this storm is quite significant here. We're not seeing a lot of rotation in this. In fact, I'll go ahead and take a look, make sure we're still pretty clean there. And yeah, I'm not seeing anything there. This is mainly a hail threat that is crossing Highway 1 around Powhatan and up toward Campty. You're next in line for this one, and then it's going to continue on to the east and eventually probably cross on over into Wynn Parish. So if you are down the line here, Galdana, Calvin, Tannehill, maybe Winfield should stay north of you. This thing has sustained itself pretty well. So we're seeing a pretty long-lived storm here that is producing hail, lots of lightning, lots of heavy rainfall. It's a quick hitter, but once this thing comes through, you could easily see some damage to cars, roofs, things like that as hail of this size comes through. And it always helps us out if you report this, because then again, like I said in my post, we can correlate that to what's going on at ground level. So if I'm sitting here thinking, from the best estimates I give, it's probably around golf ball size, you can come on then and say, well, no, I had this size, or it was smaller, is bigger, things like that. It just helps us out a lot. So looking further out at the radar picture here, you can see we have another severe thunderstorm warning. This one is out in Texas, but there you see Anacoco, Leesville, Florine. This storm is headed this way. And from what I'm seeing, from what we're getting dealt in these early storms, it does seem that with the added instability and severe levels and freezing levels, right around 10,000 feet in these storms, once they get fired up, that is allowing for this larger hail to make it down close to the ground, or in this case, to the ground here, as this storm continues on to the east. And I'm just keeping this over here on my laptop, just in case I have any updates come through on what we're seeing at ground level. And that's why we haven't seen reports here yet, because we're in that's a pretty sparsely populated area here. I'm sure some of these cars crossing over 49, I'm sure they had some hail damage as this came through, because when you get that black core like that, that is over 70 dBz. That is a measurement we use to see kind of the density of precipitation and hail and things that are coming down. And right now, we are most definitely seeing the threat for hail with this. In fact, Hail Tracker showing likely, and this is something this is one of those products we rarely have to use, but in this case we will. I'm going to hit this, put it in motion, and we can kind of see. Yeah, that's a pretty long track hailstorm right there that moved right across I-49. And as you can kind of project that out, that's going to go right over Campty. So if you are in Campty, you are running out of time to get those cars inside, get the cars garaged, and that's even better to see that. It's just pretty much a straight line, maybe a bit of a bend toward the right there. So Campty, if you're on the south side, especially between Campty and Clarence, this is going to cross right through that area, and that's why we have that severe thunderstorm warning. So crossing Highway 1 now. Next up will be Highway 71, and then it's going to continue on to the northeast toward Wynn Parish, hopefully weakening, but that's something we're going to be watching here as this moves in toward Black and Saline Lake right here. If you know of anybody who's out fishing, out just having an enjoyable day on the water, get them inside. This is not one to play with, as this could be very, very serious hail moving your way. popping this up here just to see. And yeah, that's just going to show us the most likely area for hail as this continues to the east. So there's a million ways we can look at it, but any way you slice it, this is crossing Highway 1 now. It's moving in toward Campty, and it looks like it's going to make a pretty direct hit as this continues on toward the northeast. Right now, again, right on Highway 1, Old River Road north, and then heading into Campty Bayou Road. If you're in that area, if you are along 71 where it meets 9 in Campty, and you're south of that especially, that's where I think we're going to see our potential for some large hail. And I'm just going to pop over here and see if I have any updates coming through on the chat. Nope, just talking about general stuff here. So no actual ground truth reports, but if this thing's not putting out hail, I would be stunned. Now, looking at the big picture, here's your tornado watch, and this down here is a wind advisory. I just have all the warnings and watches on for right now. So a windy day, we know that. Tornado watch includes Catahoula and Concordia parishes. This does not include Rapides, doesn't include LaSalle, Grant, Wynn, and any of these areas that are seeing the heavy storms right now, because again, off to our northeast is where we get a better combination of the ingredients. That obviously doesn't mean we can't see some severe weather here, but they're not going to probably issue a watch for something that's probably a 2 or 3 hour threat. You issue a watch in advance of an event that's going to come in, it's going to last for a while. So with this front moving through, and we can actually take a look and see where this front is right now, I think it's going to be on the, I think if I make this more sensitive, I'll be able to see that front. I'm going to go to the Shreveport radar and take a look at this. Because like I said, once that front clears you, that's when the severe threat's going to go away. And it's not as evident right now just on radar, but it's right along this line of storms right here, down into northwestern Sabine Parish, just now crossing into northwestern Natchitoches Parish. So behind this storm, then your severe threat's going to weaken. It's only going to be a couple hours that we're really going to have these issues in the area, or at least in one given area. And then it's gonna steadily march on toward the east. So let me move the sensitivity back down on this and pause it, and so we can go and take a look at that other storm that eventually, now this one's going to track into Sabine, maybe northern Vernon Parish, and I'm going to take a look at that hail swath on this one. It's not as impressive. It's a younger storm moving across Sam Rayburn Lake there and headed toward Toledo Bend, but that one's been on a bit of a weakening trend. This one up here has not been on any sort of weakening trend, as we have likely severe hail that's gone through Allen, Powhatan. It's going to be moving up into Campty, Black Lake, Saline Lake, and then down the line perhaps Calvin, Galdana, and then maybe even further down the line we get in toward Winfield. But that's a ways away for us. So not seeing any sort of update on any sort of reports there, but please let me know. See, 10 miles north of Natchitoches, large hail I-49. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, that's exactly where we're talking about here. Let's see. Oh my goodness, there we go. And just measuring this out, let's just say this is Natchitoches roughly, and yeah, 10 miles. You were right in it. I mean, I'd love to know how large. If you by chance have any sort of size to that would be excellent, because National Weather Service would like to know, or if you saw any damage with this hail, because that is one nasty looking core right there. And with that, we are seeing a continued threat as it heads on to the east. So this isn't one that popped up quickly and then went away. See if there's anything else to pop on here and talk about real quick. Not much going on. I really just wanted to get on here because this storm was moving into some relatively populated areas, and I'll zoom down on that just to have that close at hand here. This storm system right here is the one we're talking about. It does not have a lot of rotation. That looks like that would be probably some clutter coming in on that, or some let's see. I don't see anything that's jumping out as this being tornadic. What's kind of helped us, we heated up so much today, we did mix out the lower levels of the air mass a little bit, so the dew points are a little bit lower than we were expecting. So hopefully that means higher cloud bases, and we can keep these the tornado threat with the weaker wind shear at bay. But this area right here is certainly an area to watch. I think the hail threat is going to be our main thing. In fact, let's go ahead and take a quick pop over and look and see, and it's going to go blank for a second, but then we're going to go in and we're going to take a look at the sky cam, and yeah, there's our storm right there. I had aimed it toward that, and we have that thunderstorm that is moving on toward the east-northeast, a very, very nasty-looking storm there, and then we're going to see new ones form. One other thing I wanted to take you through is a quick look at the HRRR. This model, it's the one that's kind of the high-resolution model, and this is showing over the next several hours that these storms are just going to kind of refire right ahead of the front. The stuff behind the front is not severe, so by about 9 o'clock it looks like the threat is gone, but then behind that we see some more rain as well. So I'm going to hop out of here. I have an alarm going off to go stir the gumbo, if that's not the most Louisiana thing you've ever heard. So I'm going to go ahead and hop off here because I was about to anyway, but that severe thunderstorm warning continues for areas of Natchitoches Parish, and that is crossing into, potentially into Wynn Parish here in the next little while. So a hail threat, that's your main issue there. I'm going to be sitting here watching closely. Tom is probably going to pop on here in a few minutes and do a forecast as well. So we're just going to be kind of filling up the screen here and letting you know what's going on over the next several hours, and then by about 8 or 9 o'clock, that threat goes away. Thanks for popping on and tuning in with me, and if you are in Campty, Galdana, Calvin, even Winfield, garage those cars now. Trust me, this storm is not one to miss.